Hi, welcome to week 3. Soon you will be on holidays, on a break. Not sure if you're going someplace, right? You're not supposed to be leaving. We can't go anywhere. But, anyways, welcome. And so, this week's topics is very similar to what we said last week about who do we believe. And it is very dangerous to not create our own history. If you don't write your history, somebody else will write it for you. So we were told, and this is not only in U.S. history or Salvadoran history, but history in where colonizers have been involved. That they say that we, the colonizers, come to your country, come to your territory, and you attack us. We only wanted what was best for you. Really? And that's the narrative that a lot of people follow. Um, they say that when they came to El Salvador, they were met with dangerous weapons and stuff. And if that were true, I wouldn't be opposed. Imagine that a thief comes to your house. You will get a broom or whatever, you swat him away. And that's what happens with history. When you have somebody telling you that Native Americans were savages, and that's the word that has been used throughout the around the world, throughout history, that natives are called savages. And of course, if you don't know my culture and I don't know yours, then you will label me as a savage. For people who live in skyscrapers, for example, and they look at this video and they see nature behind me, they'll say, "Oh yeah, this guy, look at this thing here. So he probably lives in trees. Living on trees is not a bad thing, depending on your culture. But if the colonizers are the ones narrating the events, then of course things will change. Your perception will change. Like somebody told me in Spanish, si solo escuchamos a la caperucita, el lobo siempre será el lobo malo. So think about that. And yeah, of course, you always have to hear both sides. Not only thinking that, oh, the ones, because we have a tendency to believe the white Europeans. We don't normally believe our own people. See, when I began doing research about certain things in El Salvador, they say, "Oh yeah, that's not what we do. That's not something that Salvadorans should be doing," because we try to minimize our own efforts. So, think of colonization in El Salvador, that the Spaniards came with a cross. I'm going to Christianize you. You need to become a Christian. But that wasn't really the reason. The reason was that they wanted the goods that were here, the gold, the silver, mining, all these things. And the same thing happened later on with the Civil War in the United States. So I don't want you to believe that all the founding fathers were awesome, good, and that they People fought for liberty. People fought for to abolish slavery, for the treatment of Native Americans. No, that didn't move them. That didn't. Think about Cuba. People think that, or many in the United States, I like the sun the way it is now. People in the United States think they have been made to believe that Cuba is evil. So Cuba is only 90 miles away from the United States. So why hasn't the United States taken any action against Cuba? Because Cuba has no resources like Iraq, like Afghanistan. So, or look at how many attempts of coup d'état have been made against Venezuela, because Venezuela has the largest reservoir of oil in the world. So that's why they try and they try and they try. But of course, that can't be that evident. So the idea that the Civil War in the United States was a moral issue to abolish slavery is a farce. That's not true. It was moved by economic interests, like many wars, like things like what's happening right now during this pandemic. Reopening was not made because, oh, we care for those who are inside and they don't have anything to eat. We want them to get out and do so. No, no. Of course, there's the big companies, the big money that is moving in El Salvador. Um, the idea that morality moves somebody, it's very questionable. Slavery was not something that people thought about and said, "Oh no, that's true. That's right. We're evil. We can't have slaves, or those people can't have slaves." No, it was a more. If they were paying tribute or taxes to Britain, and then all of a sudden they say, "Well, if we, have a war and we have these reasons, then we will be free from all these taxes." So everything is about money, and that's why I tell you repeatedly that you have to be in control of what you do, to read, to make sure that you know what your history is, your own history, because we're trying to learn U.S. history, but if you don't know your own history, your own ancestry, then we're failing. So we need to know our own history first, our country's history, and then also learn about the United States. And we will progress into these um, uh, readings into our studies of U.S. history. But but I wanted you to understand that if you don't write your history, if you don't read, others will do it for you. Others will read. Others will tell you how things really happen. And that's the prompt for this week. And here, I would like your comments, your responses to my video, and your we're talking about indigenous people here as well, about who do we believe. That's an important thing in history, and the causes of the Civil War. And if you watch the video of Ben Franklin, all of that is part of your um, response on this in this video. See you next week. Happy break.